Hey, Michael, buddy, how you doing, man? How goes the week? Just getting a couple goodies off the cabinet over there. Oh yes, camping. I saw the pictures. I think it was your wife put up. Very nice, very nice. So you're sitting around a campfire there now? Kevin Williams, how you doing, buddy? Brad is here. Nice. If you guys could hit the like button as you're coming in, that would be awesome. Happy Friday to you all. We're just finishing up the night of work here. Dad just left. Some nice steel off this week. Some great stuff shipped out. A lot of custom projects and repair type work. Like Kevin's mentioning there. He says, loving the 110. I rebuilt a Buck 110. Built it out custom for Kevin. A number of those done this week, as well as repair and restoration work, sharpening. I think I just finished the second heat treat of the week. Have a look at another project being built for a customer. I haven't done one in a while, but a straight razor. This was a really rough old straight razor. And you can see it's taped up now, but the scales were pretty much destroyed on it. The razor itself was in pretty rough shape. So I did a restoration on the razor. I took it out of the old scales. These are brand new scales, but I took it out of the old scales. I fully refurbished and polished the blade. It had a huge chip out, which is not uncommon with straight razors. They're so thin, they're heat treated to be so hard that they're brittle. So a big corner chip. So I reprofiled the nose of the razor. This razor was probably 3/16 of an inch longer than this. Reprofiled it. Whetstone sharpened up to 12,000 grit, I believe. Not strapped yet. I don't have my razor strap here. And then I built a set of scales for it out of black burlap micarta and polished beautifully. It's been a while since I've had the privilege to do a straight razor, but I love straight razors. Some of the earliest content on my channel was straight razors. They're a lot of fun. I use them myself all the time, but it's just a beautiful piece. And a privilege to be able to build out for a client. It's nice work to get paid for. Hey, Lon, how you doing, buddy? Elijah's here. How you doing? Kevin says he's happy we don't have to shave with those anymore. I don't know. They're a lot of fun, and they're not a lot of money like these modern fancy razors. I don't use those. I mostly shave with a safety razor, single blade safety razor. And right here, I'm working on a really beautiful little slip joint, Joseph Levens. Built in, Joseph Rogers, sorry. I believe Sheffield, Sheffield, England piece. This was a rough, gnarly little blade, but these are beautiful. And the Joseph Rogers stuff you check out online fetches really high value. But this little guy, unfortunately, was really roughed up and beat up. But I had to pretty much strip the whole thing and rebuild the slip joint. And I've just got the chassis all reassembled and fixed up there now, and everything's nicely operational. And we'll get a nice set of scales on there. But slip joints, if you are getting into knife restoration and rebuild work, save slip joints for later in your career, later in your work, because they are tricky to get right, to get everything operating just right. Once you take them apart, they can be tricky to get back together. But this is, beautiful little Joseph Rogers that I think the customer will be excited to have back. These are the little ugly little scales that came off. But you can see the whole end was broken out of this one. These are just little, feels almost like Bakelite black plastic type of thing. Pretty broken up, but we'll have a nice set put on with epoxied on. I think maybe we're doing like a buffalo horn or something like that. Super high gloss finish. Should be really nice. I like those. Those are projects that I don't do all too often anymore. I do a lot of fixed blade work these days, a lot. Elijah says he's a safety razor man himself. Skin can't handle using modern razors. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I like the safety razor, especially if you've got like a beard line to trim along. I find a safety razor works so nice because you've got a single blade edge. So you can really cut your line very nice compared to the huge decks that are on these like 5 blade crazy razors. It's hard to cut. I know some of them have the single back edge and stuff. They're not as good as the safety razor. Safety razor is superior in my opinion. Hey, Patrick. Perfect Blade, Cyril from Londonderry, welcome. But it's been a great week in the shop, and we have, let me show you, let me haul 1 second. This is a cool project in glue up here, guys. This is it's a Cold Steel Trailmaster, if I remember correctly. We're rebuilding it, new handle. And it is going to be absolutely beautiful. The handles on the Trailmaster is really plain, really straight, not much in the terms of lines. So this is being built out for a client. Some beautiful exotic wood, and we'll do a nice profile. Profile probably that it should have got in the beginning, but I think those have like injection molded, like rubber handles, plastic and a rubber coating or something. If I remember, I've carved many of them apart on the bandsaw, but I can't remember now. It's been a little while. Yes, it has been a hot week, Patrick. Scorching week, up like 40 degrees Celsius. And just warm. Favorite exotic wood to use? Favorite overall, curly maple when it's stabilized because it's very consistent. It's like working with a synthetic in terms of consistency. You don't have a lot of pores, pits. You're not coming up on lines and fracture points. And it's just very beautiful and consistent. And so, yeah, I like curly maple. Polishes like glass, super dense, really durable. I love it. How hot is that for us South Americans? I'm not sure the conversion coefficient. Let's see. I think one day it was up to like, feels like 42 or something like that. Celsius to Fahrenheit. That is 107, 108. Which I think even by your guys' standards is pretty hot. Definitely multiple days this week where we top 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Hey, Chad, how you doing, buddy? But it's been hot here in the shop. No air conditioning. But the good thing is we only get that in like little burst spurts. A spurt maybe 3 or 4 days here, once in the summer, twice in the summer, something like that. So it's not like we're contending with, 3 or 4 months of it. We've only got that for a few days, and we'll soon be back. It won't be long. We'll back to like toques, like winter hats, mitts and stuff. Soon the girls will be out in gear like that again. Hey, Rocco, how you doing, buddy? Patrick says you got to get a heat pump installed. Yeah, it'll probably come one of these days. Keynote Bushcraft. Hey, buddy, did you see the guy who made the honeycomb and bee handle in epoxy? No, I did not. Did he actually inlay a bumblebee? That would be cool, but I did not see that. Now, I've worked with honeycomb synthetic, which is pretty cool. You can buy a few that are really cool. Now, it's like a synthetic honeycomb, and then they It's not actual honeycomb. It's a synthetic, like a mesh rack kind of thing. Really cool. And then they fill it with a epoxy. Really neat. Oh, Pat's workshop has a heat pump. That's beautiful stuff there, buddy. Beautiful stuff. Chad's had 44 degrees in the shop the past few weeks. Sounds like Chad doesn't have a heat pump. About 30 outside for weeks. We haven't had that kind of timeline on it, but the temperature tonight, I just walked outside for a minute before starting the live stream. I bet it's right down in the teens tonight. Yep, my phone is saying right now outside 12, that it's 12 degrees. The temperature just has plummeted within the last 24 hours. It's gone from in the 30s Celsius or like 90 degrees Fahrenheit down to, let's see, 12 C or like 50 or so degrees Fahrenheit. It's gone from like 90 to 50 in the last 12 hours or so, which is a wild shock to the system. I came down here today on motorcycle, and it was warm, very warm and humid. And outside now, feels like freezing cold. Keep the doors shut and turn on the smog hogs. Yeah, the extractors. Nice, Rocco. Glad you're getting the rain. We're getting, Newfoundland is getting burnt up here. A number of these, or at least one guy in this chat, I know Chad, lives in danger zone. East coast of Newfoundland, they have been burning up with forest fires like crazy. A lot of trouble, evacuations, 100+ homes burned. It's been nasty. Businesses burning down. A lot of commotion. Chad, I guess you've been all right, eh? Did you get evacuated? Nurk, there are horses, like there are some hobby horses around, an occasional one, none in my little town actually, but no, not really a thing. That was bugging me. Letting the water out of a blister there. A heat blister, a burn from the oven today. But yeah, no, horses aren't really a thing in the area. Not much going on. What I do have going on is a really beautiful, I've got a number of these bake apples. They'll go up soon, but a number of bake apples here. Really, really nice in the ancient bog oak. The oversized hardware, the brass mosaic pins. These are forge finish, saber grind, and then that thick white liner. And this bog oak is really, really premium stuff. But just look how pretty that knife looks. That looks just about flawless there. But this is a great material, great wood. I always enjoy working with. These are kind of like another tier bake apple that we decided to do like a limited edition run of. And so I've got a few here. These, so if you're interested in grabbing one sold today, just in conversation, I shared a pic with a friend just for his viewing pleasure, and he wanted one just like that. So one is gone already. If you want to grab up one like that, you sure can shoot me an email. My email is all over my social media. If you go to the knife services tab on my website, knives.ca, you can find my email. But beautiful little package there. Bake apple is my best seller by far. Really, really cool piece there. I'm happy with those. I'm glad you guys like it as well. Any plans for another car build in the future? Absolutely. Something I would like to do down the road. There's some big project going right now, big projects in the works right now, just building out the shop and changes in the business and the boat project and so on. But I really would love to one day have a nice car project, a real nice car project. Money wise, it makes sense. Seems to make most sense to pick up like a maybe a 90s, late 80s vet and start from there. But yeah, that would be a nice project. If we go like early 2000s vet and get it with the bigger engine and then just kind of build it out from there, and you'd have a great little sports car, and you could pick those things up for like 10 grand right now in mint condition. They don't seem to hold value, but they're a blast of a car. 6-speed trans with a 350 or bigger. That's a lot of fun for cheap, and you can just pretty much start building on that frame and project right away. Rocco says, as much as he loves the Bake Apple, the XL is his go-to blade, just fits his hand perfectly. The Bake Apple XL is an awesome pattern. Thank you for bringing that one up, buddy. We take the Bake Apple, we lengthen it, we thicken it from 1/8 through 3/16, so it's a nice, it's a thicker slab of material, and it just feels so good in the hand. The lines on the Bake Apple are really great. Some really great and practical lines. The blade shape is just about perfect in my opinion. So to blow it up to where it fits your hand even better, like in Rocco's case, the Bake Apple XL is a great piece. Nurk Dewitsky, on the Puko email you sent out, when do you think you will be taking payments for those? Nurk, did you get an email for the Puko project? I can't think that you would have. Oh, sorry, buddy. I wasn't putting that together. Yeah. I am taking deposits now. If you want to send in a deposit for the project now, I have a number of people's deposits already. Just some portion to secure your spot. If you want to pay a little more than, if you want to send in a couple $100, that will be a couple $100 that will be off of your total at the end, or when the final invoice gets sent out for the project. That's how it'll go. Chad says he thinks he needs an XL as well. It's a fantastic blade, buddy. I think you'd love it. Alan Garrow, how you doing, Alan? Hope you're doing well, buddy. Alan likes the Bake Apples. Says he may have to get an XL. Thanks, streamer. Thanks for stopping by. And good to know, Rocco. Good to know. If you guys... Oh, I'll answer Dom's question. Have you ever been to the United States? No, I have not. I would love to. I need to, but someday. Do you know, I would estimate at this point probably 50% of my sales, cane knife sales, go to the United States, which is really, really fantastic. So I would love to visit there sooner than later. There are a number of states I've always wanted to visit. Montana. Lately, California. I've got a couple fantastic clients in California. And from a lot of the media I hang around and stuff, I've been kind of turned off in recent years from California. But from talking to some of my clients from there, it just seems like such a beautiful spot to visit. A lot of beautiful stuff to see and take in. And of course, I would want to meet those guys as well. Oh, yeah. Montana seems real special. Michael, I caught that when you said it. Your youngest passed her learner's test today. Wow. Does that make you feel old, buddy? Glenn, hey, Glenn. Hey, John Conklin. Good day, Mr. Conklin. Hope everyone's doing good and had a great week. Like I said, it's been a scorcher, but cooling down. Actually, I'm going to open this window right now, take advantage of some of that cold air. I see Dad just pulled up out there. You can see the bay doors open. Just pulled up to grab his boat. So I'm opening the back window to let that cool suck right through the building. See if we could drop her a few degrees here. Yeah, Michael, I bet it does make you feel old, buddy. That's crazy. Am I allowed to enter the USA? I would imagine not at this point. I would need to put in some work to be allowed to do that. Definitely not set up for it. Florida's another state I would love to visit, to check out some of the waterways, some of the marinas. I watch a lot of the video and YouTube content I follow is from Florida. Of course, my buddy Cletus McFarland, Garrett Mitchell, is a Floridian. And I really, really like that guy. Not that I would get to meet him probably, but just would be cool to be able to drive by some of the operations. And Nurk, being in a fairly remote region of Canada, do you feel Newfoundland is fairly unaffected by federal government overreach and such? We are usually behind the curve. I always say, as a general rule, we're about 10 years behind the curve of a lot of policy implementation. But now, that said, Newfoundland does tend to lean, it seems, fairly liberal. And so always kind of on the leading edge of some of those issues that you're probably suggesting there. John says he's just back from the farm, 2 weeks of hot. Oh, John, buddy, it's been roasting here. Roasting. But just cooled down. Really, it started last night. We started getting a little bit of rain, some good heavy rain this morning. Now the temperature has plummeted to where you could almost wear a jacket outside right now. What is a scorcher in Newfoundland? Oh, we've had, for the past week or so, we've had like 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 odd degrees, which is really, really hot for Newfoundland. That is a scorcher. Mark, buddy, how you doing? How is the little lady doing? I know a bunch of us here would love to hear. Rocco says, hey, Kyle, how about showing off that camp knife design you and Strapped and Dangerous are working on? I bet there are a few people here who would love to get in on that build. I'm glad you mentioned, because tonight I actually brought drawings to discuss. And here, the project we have going on with Strapped and Dangerous. Is it going to be a blown out, the contrast? No, that's not too bad. Oh, Strapped and Dangerous just chimed in right in the nick of time. Actually, let's take a pause, guys. I see Mark just messaged. I want to read that. Mark says his granddaughter completed treatment yesterday. MRI conducted to see where to from here. Okay, good. I guess you haven't gotten those MRI results yet, eh? So you're waiting on that? We'll be praying. I'll be praying, of course, for your lovely little granddaughter. Got it, Mark. Thanks for sharing the update, buddy. I appreciate that. Just checking out the comments here, making sure I'm caught up. But very thankful for Mark's update. Thankful that he's here and that he's given us some information. So for those that are thinking about his granddaughter and praying for her, and just helps to put that back in the forefront of our minds here. On to what Rocco mentioned, and that is I have been talking over a knife project with Strapped and Dangerous for a number of months now, a concept that he brought to me for kind of a do-it-all camp knife type project. And he's thrown some ideas. I threw some sketches. He asked for some modifications and changes in design. I took what he said and modified lines and angles and those types of things, and have come up with, wait for the contrast of the lighting to adjust, this piece right here, which I think is just phenomenal. I am so excited to build this piece. You can see the lines that are going on here. You can see I just really love this handle that's going on here. But yeah, so a bit of a collaborative project here. And we've been talking back and forth on whether, I've been talking back and forth with Strapped and Dangerous on whether this will be a little limited edition series build or kind of a one-off project. Now, I think, Rocco, if I remember correctly, when we discussed the project this morning, you said you definitely wanted in on the project. Was that right? Don't mean to put you on the spot too hard here, but this is going to be a really nice piece. You can see fairly sizable blade. Now, it's not a massive blade, but we have 6.5-inch blade here. 5-inch handle, so smaller than the Bowie knife that I showed that belonged to Mr. John Conklin, smaller than that Bowie that I showed the last couple weeks, but still a fairly sizable knife, bigger than what it is on paper right here. But it's going to have all the right ergonomics. This is actually exposed tang back here, so our handle's going to stop early, and it's going to be great. Something cool that was Strapped and Dangerous idea, which I love, and what we're going to accomplish here is that, by the way, everything is reverse in the camera. So if you see my hands moving around like I can't think straight, it's difficult to do that and look around and show you guys. So this plane and this plane and this plane are all a matching angle. They're all the same angle. So those lines carry throughout the project, which just gives a killer sight line down the knife. Really, really slick. I just love it. What you're seeing here, the ricasso, is not a guard. I've just shaded it a different color to indicate where the plunge line is there. We're doing pretty much a full height grind. Sorry for the contrast washing it out there, guys. But that is what is going on. If you're interested in getting in on this really, really awesome project, you can shoot me an email. I'll throw it in the chat there now. Kyle@np-inc.ca. But it is definitely happening. It is going to be fantastic, and it's going to be every bit a usable knife. Not a super polished shelf queen or that type of thing. Very much a user knife is what we're going for here, with all the right lines, all the right ergos, and something really different, really unique. So I'm excited about it. Still talking through some sheath plans. The blade guard piece of paper I did not actually bring. 1 second, I might have a picture on my phone, but we're considering, instead of doing a sheath, because it is a sizable knife, instead of doing a sheath, doing basically an edge guard. That will help with pricing as well. Yeah, I can show you on my phone here. This is just a Oh, come on. You can do it. You can do it, Lens. There we go. Something of an edge guard. You can just kind of see there. And that will allow you, these caster wheels, they'll hardly roll over a pencil mark on the floor. I'm trying to think of a way to put some tie down points on this edge guard. So even though it's not a full on sheath, because this is a big blade to hang off your belt, it still has some options of doing like a lacing for a belt hang, or to lace it to a pack, or to lace it to some gear, something like that. And so I'm working out in my mind how to pull that together, how to make those tie down points on it. That is the plan. It's going to be a fun night. You guys can ask all the questions you want about the design here. Mr. Strapped and Dangerous, if you've got questions for him on kind of philosophy of use behind it, go for it. I'm sure he wouldn't mind. How about laser etching Beothic into the edge guard, being that's the name of the camp knife? That is correct. That is the name that we discussed between Strapped and Dangerous and myself. I believe the name was one that he suggested, and I thought it was a beautiful name for a piece like this. Really, really nice. And so laser etching that into the edge of the guard, I love that idea. I really love that idea, especially considering this is kind of like a limited edition, really nice piece. They would be numbered. It'll be a numbered batch built together, matching. And so to put the name on the piece like that, absolutely. Definitely want to do that. It's definitely going to be a fun piece, so I'm real excited about it. But go ahead if you want to ask some questions. We've got some brass going on here, some brass work, two different, again, I'm doing everything reverse, two different materials here. There, that's some good lighting right there. You can see really nice contrast here. Going to have a nice fine tip on this piece. It's not going to be a big chunky thick blade that's unusable. It's really going to excel in food prep as well. Notice I said this is a ricasso, not a guard here. But notice the handle lines and how that will kind of, you can imagine how the different curves will aid in having that longer blade. It helps to have that dropped reverse curve like that. Of course, you have that big convex here that'll fit up into the concave of your hand. So it should fit just buttery smooth, lots of traction points, lots of places to hold on. And if you did want to chop with it, you have enough forward weight with that blade. You have enough down curve on the back that you can pull that off. And right here, you have kind of a sweet spot for a lanyard hole, for a pinky lanyard. Just will be a really, really nice setup. Sounds like you guys even like the idea of an edge mask. How thick? I believe we were back and forth between 3/16 and 1/8, but I think, yeah, 3/16, but a full taper right from the ricasso up. So that's how we still end up with a very nice thin profile tip. You have lots of weight back through your spine, lots of thickness back through the handle, but we're doing a full grind. So we're not flat plane and then you see that bevel come in, because we're coming up full height bevel. We're also going to be full grind to tip. It's going to be a little bit of extra grinding to grind a bevel like that, but it's going to feel so great. Glad you guys like the design. I'm sure Strapped and Dangerous is pleased. Lon Wooded says he loves the Beothic. Haven't had a chance to reply to the email, but interested. What are you thinking on blade finish? I believe the last thing discussed was forge finish, wasn't it, Trout and Dangerous? Which will definitely be more durable of a finish than like a satin finish. And of course, is kind of the forge finish has become my signature look. It is my signature look and style, and I just love it. I've been doing it right from the beginning almost. I love it. So I'm glad you guys are excited. Lon, if you want to shoot me or get back to me on that, love to get your name on the list, buddy. Rocco, the forge finish is a working finish, and I love the richness and character that it comes out with right from the start. It's really nice, but I'm excited. And that's kind of you've kind of got a big flat plane on this blade as well. And to have that much surface area to allow for the forge finish, you across that much surface area, you'll get to see variations in the finish from the oil, which is going to be beautiful. It's going to be kind of like a picture. It's going to be so nice. When you get a blade as small as the bake apple, and by the way, here's that bake apple again. I showed in the beginning that beautiful ancient bog oak, the mosaic pins, just a gorgeous, gorgeous knife. These were just finished, cleaned up, and put in leather today. And yeah, but when you have a piece of steel this small, it's not a lot of room to see a lot of variation in the forge finish. You kind of get one location of color, so you don't usually see a ton of variation on the bake apples. When you add 2 inches to that blade, or a Tuckamore or tradesman or something like that, you've got enough real estate that you get to see the variations in colors and things play out from the heat treat, which is really, really cool. And so that'll be on display even more with a blade like this. With a blade like we see on the Warrior, you get to see those colors and the oil lines and staining, and it's just really cool. And it offers a really nice barrier to corrosion and stuff as well. Just love the forge finish. But that is the plan. So if you're interested in getting in on this really cool project, you can shoot me an email. My email's in the comments there, but yeah, I think it'll be a project you'll wanna be a part of. As the forge finish wears off, it leaves a beautiful patina behind. It absolutely does. Absolutely does. Hey, Barry. Barry bought a nice little food prep knife from me in 2023. Is there a way to change the blade finish? Very likely, Barry. We couldn't go to. I'd have to look at my notes and specs. I'm confident that I can look at your build and tell you exactly the knife that you have. But if it started off with like a satin finish, we couldn't go to what is actually a forge finish, but I could do like a blued finish, like a cold blued finish, something like that, if you wanted to go to that. But if you have a forge finish, or you had a satin or a satin or a polish finish or something like to start with, and that's gotten all stained up and tarnished and even a little rust and that type of thing now, if you send it back, I can totally resurface the blade, piece of cake, and you'll have a brand new knife finish to start with. If that's something you want to do, Barry, you can absolutely send it in and we can make that knife look new for you, handle and all. It's different than your Tuckamore. Okay. Well, if you want to shoot me an email, that's probably the best, Barry. Shoot me an email, even a couple of pictures. Let me see what we're working with, and I can see if I can help you out. Actually, I know I can help you out, but we can come up with a plan for you. Let's do it. How's the bird and trout coming along? Really, really great. I think you were here last week, Michael, when I showed the prototype. I haven't done anything with, have I taken any names for the project this week? I don't think I've sent any emails or pushed ahead with this project this week, because what I'd like to do before I finalize it is actually prototype and build the sheath that it's going to get. Then I want to show you guys the sheath, and you're going to see basically the full package. This is the limited edition build you're going to be buying into. So it's going to be a pre-configured package, and you can either have the choice of being a part of this special limited edition build or not, rather than a whole ton of collaboration and ideas that kind of thing. But that is the piece right now, the bird and trout. And this is an upcoming limited edition series, limited edition run. And it may eventually make it to my production line. It's got all the right things that make me want to make it a part of my production line. It would be, I think, a fantastic pairing with the yellow fox. Imagine if you had the set of the master hunter, the yellow fox, and the bird and trout as your hunting and angling set, and then put it with it the brand new yet to be K&N Knives filleting knife. Oh man, what a set you'd have. What a hunting set. Not that you need all of that, but it would be something special. Can you get to Colt level of cold blue finish? Not very likely. Their process is pretty dialed. But I have had some very good results with cold bluing. I've built some really nice stuff with cold bluing. Michael, you still got time, buddy. You still got time. Chad says, ever think about doing a small, I have a lot of messages coming in there now. I'm trying to grab them. Ever think about doing a small production run of the marking knives you made years ago? I haven't really. I can't see that there would be much of a desire for that. I saw mine here recently. Wonder where that is. I believe it's right there with my woodworking tools. Rocco says he's going to be sending me some pins and badges on Monday. Awesome, buddy. Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing some of that stuff, and we'll get that put to work on some pristine customs. Brad King asks, any decision on handle material for the bird and trout? Not just yet. I haven't settled my mind on it just yet. John says, what is the time frame around this new build? I'm in the middle of a few things with you now. Yeah, John, I guess we're into the, you're talking through that custom project with me there. And then the Remembrance Day build you're in a part of. And I assume when you say around this new build, you're talking about this one with Strapped and Dangerous? That crazy build? Timeline, working on it right now, talking about it, but probably I would love to dive into it right after the Remembrance Day project. Now, the Remembrance Day project will release on Remembrance Day, but it should be in your hands a considerable amount of time before then. That's the hope. So it should be a 2025 build, no problem. Well back into 2025. Strapped and Dangerous? Yeah, okay, you're going to connect on that. Nice, nice, nice. So that sounds good, John. Be careful, Strapped and Dangerous. I guess that's got to do with your light coming in here. I figured it was something like that. John, understood, buddy, understood. I'll sketch your name down here. I'm going to put it right on. And someone mentioned a cool idea the other day. I sketched out live on a live stream, someone mentioned a bird and trout design on the live stream. I think it might have been Rocco. I sketched one out real quick on paper and held it up, and you guys loved the sketch. And then I basically built that knife, and someone said, oh, you should put all of our names on that, because as people were talking to me on, on the live stream saying, hey, oh, I want to get in on that bird and trout build, I was writing your names down on my paper, on the paper that I sketched on. And someone said, you should keep that and frame it or auction it off or something like that, make it available to one of the people from the list. I thought that's a really cool idea. So maybe I'll do that with this one, because this is the first hand drawing. And this is kind of like the official design here. Sketched out. So I could throw your names on this, and this would be a cool document if I could keep it in good shape. Even if it's not good shape, that almost makes it even more beautiful. This is being passed around the shop as I'm working on them with dirty hands and that type of thing. It's a lot of fun. But so far we have I'm putting down your tags for those of you who have them alongside of your name. Kind of fun. Mr. Conklin is tentative. I guess based on other projects, timing, that type of thing. Lon is interested in it. Just lighting. Configure. I'm sketching them down on the paper, as you can see. So we'll leave that right there. But I thought it was a fun idea too. Strapped and Dangerous says, I bet more folks would love to see the Remembrance Day design you sent out if you haven't already shown it. Quite fantastic. Thank you. I sent out kind of a just about finalized version of the Remembrance Day Puko build. This special project has been talked about on here for probably a couple months now. It's been talked about since the spring online. And it's just a phenomenal project, a weighty project, a Remembrance or Veterans Day Puko. And it'll be the project will be filmed. It'll be a limited edition numbered kind of collector's series set of knives. You will get a chance to buy in. A couple numbers have already been picked out of the number that we're building. But the inspiration is from my original Puko that I built for myself. And this is my own personal knife, my own personal Puko. And a lot of things about this piece I love, but the goal is to build something kind of like 2.0 of this, and to honor, it's coming up. It's coming up. To honor our veterans and active military service, just as you would with Remembrance Day or Veterans Day. And so the drawing that I've come up with, we're going to be struggling with lighting here again. But this is the piece. This is what was sent out, the document this morning, the sketch. And so it's going to be slightly larger than my own personal Puko. Little more blade, very similar in handle. And the main changes is I've done away with the back swedge that my Puko has. I want a little more flat, a little more depth of blade, and a little more real estate to work on with the vine work, which you can see I did that with my own Puko. So we're going to be doing that and a nicer version, full polished blade, because this knife needs it. It needs it. For the handle, we're going to be doing a reduced tang design, which is just like my own personal Puko. So not an exposed tang. And it's going to be really, really nice. Just like my own personal Puko, we're going to do brass and brass. And just like with my own Puko, we have two sections of brass and colored liners. We're going to do just the same thing. But an issue we're running into is on this piece, as I've discussed with you guys, we want two things on the handle. One is a poppy, a beautiful brass and red poppy, which were sent in by Rocco, by the way. He sent in a bunch of these really gorgeous We Remember poppies, and they're colored and they're outlined in brass. They look phenomenal. But we need to inlay that into the knife. That's one of the criteria. The other criteria is that we want to be able to put some text on the knife. A number of you mentioned you'd really like, which is why I threw here just as an example, you'd really like to be able to label a scripture verse or a couple sentences or a line. I think I spoke with one of the members of the group today, and he's really hoping to have a few lines of In Flanders Fields engraved on his handle. And so basically we need 2 blocks of canvas on the handle. And the way I've decided, or the way I've split this handle up here, I don't have those 2 blocks of real estate to do a crest and some text. And so all I've done is taken these 2 sections and moved them together, center handle. So then I have canvas and canvas. And the pin, of course, is going to be outstanding. The text is going to be laser engraved. So it'll be dark and subtle. It won't be like red paint smattered on the side of the knife. It'll all be very subtle, super classy, but everything is drawn here to show you the lines. Now, the major change from my own personal Puko is this indentation right here. The only reason for that is about the only change I would make with this handle, because it feels so good, just incredible, is I would like a little more lockup back in the rear portion of the handle to lock my hand into the knife, more than this Puko gives. And this is a really traditional style Puko. But if you look at a lot of Puko designs, you get studying them, a lot of them have under curves and recurves, this type of thing here. And so I've implemented that into with a Cayenne Knives twist, my own style back here. And so it's giving a little bit of style flair, but it's also giving a safety or a traction point on the handle, which is really important. Other than that, we're almost right in line with my personal Puko. So I borrowed a lot from this design. That back line is just the same. The blade angles. Let's see if I can run a quick comparison here. So you can see that back line, the blade lines. A lot of things are really similar, but with a few minor changes. But it's just going to be, like I said, collector series, limited edition, numbered set, a videoed project. This is going to be something really, really special for sure. And you have a chance at this point to buy into the project. Spots are getting limited at this point, but there's still a couple spots if you wanted to get into this project. We're going to be doing very nice leather work, engraved, stamped leather work. This is just a rough sketch I did here just today, just to help me visualize dimension and size, the lines I want. But this is what's in the plans here, something like that. And we'll do some kind of imagery within these lines here. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Strapped and dangerous, you take off, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Chad says, does a bird and trout have a lanyard hole? I'd also like to see a slight palm swell. The bird and trout does have a lanyard hole. Absolutely. Palm swell, you can see those lines. Very nice, as well as kind of hard to show with this glossy material. There you can see it really well. A thumb divot or a finger divot. So it feels like almost nothing you've ever felt. It feels so good in the hand. Just such control, such a great traction point with that divot. It feels just perfect in the hand. And if you've worked with small game, fish, that type of thing, a lot of times you are holding the knife like this. And so to have that divot, it's just right in the sweet spot. Same thing on the other side if you need it, or just great for the finger as well. But it just feels good pretty much every point in the hand. It feels phenomenal. Really a lot of control, not a huge blade, right in the sweet spot like you'd want for a bird and trout. You're not looking for a 5-inch blade on a bird and trout knife. Oh, Chad might not be here next week. We'll miss your presence, buddy. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it cooling down outside, the cooler weather. John, just send me an email. I'll watch for that, buddy. I'll watch for that. I'll check as soon as I head home this evening. But I'm excited about these builds. We have some phenomenal set builds coming up, and this is something I've been talking to one or two of you guys about, the idea of doing collector's series, numbered, limited edition sets. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited for you guys to be a part of it, to have these special pieces, very special pieces in a world that does a lot of 1 of 10,000. Just meaningless, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds rolling off the shelf. I want to build something that's worth collecting and worth, that's special. That's different. That's special. Not that we store up our treasures here on earth, or not that that is our goal, but to be different. I appreciate all you guys. I picture your encouragement, your interest in the project and the build. Check out knknives.ca for all of my stuff that I've got available. New stuff going up. I think I put up a couple new pieces this morning. If you want to check that out, knknives.ca is where you can find it. Hats, shirts, hoodies, and new hats coming. Things to keep in a disposable world. Thanks for that, Clinton. Everyone have a great weekend. I'm hoping to get out some fishing in the morning. The boat is ready to roll. I'm excited. Hope you guys have a great and safe weekend. I've taken all your notes. I think I've gotten everything I'm supposed to. Email me if you need anything. Mark, I'll be praying for your granddaughter. Have a great weekend, guys.